All right, I got the car up on the lift. This is my workshop. It's my daughter Anna's dirt bike. This is where I work on my stuff though. There's some of my metal fabrication. I got my metal fabrication shop up in the back. So, like I said, I put that apron on the car. The apron that was on the car was beat up, and then I put this trunk floor in too, because that had it was crappy, really crappy down here. I think it just all sit with water in them. Like I said, it's got those 6-volt fanfare horns, and I figured out in the last video I was having trouble. It just depends on how you push the horn button. It's like a high-low tone horn. It's got a sway bar. This is a 2-inch narrowed beam, adjustable. Let me see if I can shine the light up in there so you can see up into that bulkhead a little bit. So that would be the bottom of the fuel tank. It's got a steering damper on it. And every last little bit is rebuilt. All the steering gear, tie rods and everything, that's all new. Obviously the bushings and the beams, all the fuel lines, everything is new. Try to shine some light in there so you can see that stuff. All the brake stuff is new. And like I said, I scraped all the tar off the car, and then I wire wheeled it. So the bottom of that, there's a couple wrinkles in the bottom of that apron. I replaced all the fender hardware with stainless steel. This is where any of the cars I ever see are rotted out. So there is, see that right there? There's a couple little pinholes right in the front corner there. There is a tiny little bit right there. Go down this heater channel. This is a spot that, like, on the East Coast, everything is rotten, but this car, like, has just nothing, man. All that stuff is good. All the rear suspension's completely rebuilt. Bushings, took it all apart, fresh grease. So like I said, I had to make this exhaust. A stock 356 exhaust wouldn't fit behind the apron. Actually, you can see too that like the rear apron has never rusted away. That's the little heat shield thingy, which is usually not there. Some wrinkles in the bottom of the fender. It does leave a couple drips of oil when it sits. I'm not sure where it's coming from. See, there's a drip right there. Really, I think most of it, see that right there? I don't use it. This is like the oil screen, and this is how I change the oil. I don't bother taking the plug out. I just drop this out so I can clean the screen, and I don't use any silicone. And these metal plates don't seal up that well. I think if you wanted it to never drip, you'd have to silicone that plate, but I don't like that because then when you change the oil, it's a royal pain in the butt. So like I said, the brake lines are new. This is the original pan. Never been messed with. Let me move the phone back a little bit so you can see better. So this is the pan. It got replaced up to like right here. I'm trying to move the phone back again. But the rear section under the battery, it was rusty. But I took my time with it. And I think I did a pretty nice job. It's pretty darn hard to tell that it's even been changed. I think I'm holding the phone too close. Try to get up in there. That's just dirt. It's flinging off the tires. Hard to hold the phone far enough away so it actually focuses. You can see up in there. Okay, so see that cable that's wound up in there? That's the choke cable. The original 36 horse engine, you know, the Solex carburetor had a choke on it, and rather than pull it out of the car, I just curled it up and put a zip tie on it back there and just tucked it up out of the way. Oh, let's do this heater channel too. Let's walk along this heater channel. I'm trying to see it. So the looks like the jack on this side, maybe they like bumped or like must have hit something at some point. It's a little bit tweaked, but it's not rusty or anything. I'm trying to get an angle on it so you can see it better. It's pretty hard to do. See, it's just a little bit tweaked. We'll go along this area here. Let me move the phone back a little bit more. See that right there? There's a tiny little, there's a little Pritt hole there. Those are all the spot welds to where they, you know, like weld the bulkhead into place. Just turn this wheel. So here's another thing. See that? So like at some point, this thing was probably jacked up a little bit, maybe before the car went into the junkyard. So because that was rubbing against the tire. So definitely this side, I don't know what they call that thing, but you know, obviously that was jacked up a little bit. Just try to do a walk right down the center. It's a little bit bumpy here because I had already epoxied the bottom of the car before I moved the seat tracks. The car was all apart and I put the seats in and I was just too cramped, so I like backed up and then I drilled the spot welds out of the seat tracks and moved them and welded them back on, and it kind of jacked up my epoxy a little bit. So I re-epoxied it, but it's not perfect like around where I put the spot welds back in. Oh yeah, it's like I think they call them 2.5 inch drop spindles, but I have the original spindles that can go with the car. I don't think I'm really missing too much. I'm gonna put let the lift drop and then we'll look around the lower part of the body. So there's like a tiny bit of a crease there. This is kind of look up in here and you can see like that flange for the heater channel is all like still solid. See the edging of that fender. You reach in and stick the, see if I can reach the spotlights. I might have to turn turn the key on for that. Let's see if that does something. Yeah. So there's the spots. You know, we'll turn the headlights on too. That's windshield wipers. There's your windshield wipers. And those should be the lights. Let's see if we got any lights. We don't have lights. What the hell's going on there? Turn the spots back off. Huh. If I do that. Maybe I didn't pull the knob out far enough. Lights. Why that horn is being fucking finicky. I'm gonna have to take that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that. Oh. To take that, I'll take the button off and figure out that contact must not be touching that good. Pull a carpet up here, see what's underneath. So there's all the Dynamat underneath. These are the original mats for the car. It's got front and rear belts. Like I said, I got 2 kids, so it's nice to be able to stick somebody in the back. Like the seat tracks, the whole seat assemblies, I rebuilt everything, cleaned it all up. The seats were pretty gross, so I ended up repainting those, but they work good on the tracks. They're not finicky. I don't know. I mean, take a look at these videos. If I missed anything, let me know. We'll go over some